Dracunculus graviditatis is a specialized parasite of the uterus, infesting various species of mammal, including humans. Microscopic copepods living in untreated water may carry this nematode's larvae, which, when ingested, break through the intestinal lining and migrate to the uterine wall. Once settled, they create a membrane around themselves, fusing to the uterine tissue and releasing anandamide and HCG analogs. This tricks the body into starting a false pregnancy process, which the roundworm uses to feed and grow up to lengths of 2 meters. Removal of the parasite and its pseudoamniotic sac must be precise, as breaking it will release a large amount of antigens, which may cause anaphylactic shock to the host.
Push, honey, push! Congratulations, it's a worm!
I knew you weren't composting, you bitch! Holy pregnant lady worm sack! A totally real, not at all fake, parasitic nematode that infiltrates all mammalian reproductive system through consumption of dirty bug water, then embeds itself in the uterus, becoming a fake baby and signaling the woman's body to feed and nurture it until it is fully grown.
I know you were telling me she ain't it and it'd be opening a can of worms, but I didn't know you meant it literally.
Never got that saying, by the way. If there was a can labeled worms, I would open it immediately out of curiosity. Regardless, let's break down what we know about the womb worm that I would never lie to you about being real. This parasite feeds on all mammals, but the only ones smart enough to detect and be afraid of it are humans.
Infection goes a little something like this.
When a mommy human and a daddy glass of water containing a worm-infested copepod love each other very much, the mommy drinks the daddy glass of water containing a worm-infested copepod. The copepod then dies by vor, and the worm is released into the intestines, subsequently burrowing into the woman's guts to get to the uterus, but not in the fun way. From here, the womb worm creates a membrane around itself, which allows it to fuse to the woman's uterine lining. It then mimics the hormonal and physical triggers of pregnancy, causing the woman's body to begin treating the worm like her baby, feeding it, nurturing it, allowing it to grow into a writhing, twisted, slithering mass. The worm is even well adapted to humanity's external intervention. As if the sac is popped, the worm releases antigens, or a foreign substance that elicits an immune response from the body, in this case leading to anaphylactic shock. Many other non-anomalous nematodes in the same family have evolved the same adaptation, and it's possible that they evolved this in order to dissuade hosts from removing their new skin roommates. Speaking of the family the worm comes from, understanding another member of said family may show us a bit more about our false fetus friend here. The guinea worm is another parasitic worm that feeds off humans in a similar, very disturbing, but in my opinion, slightly less disturbing manner. The beginning stage of the life cycle in the guinea worm is exactly the same as the womb worm. Both are spread via drinking unfiltered stagnant water containing copepods. From there, they both feed on the host, just via different metrics. People don't usually show symptoms of guinea worm until around a year after infection. But at the end of its life, the worm has developed a ghastly way of leaving its host. The infected develop a fever, swelling, and a pain in the area the worm resides in. The worm then bursts out from the skin of the victim, slowly wriggling its way out, causing a searing pain for the host. More than 90% of worms come out of the legs and feet, but worms can appear on other parts of the body too. If the end of the life cycle of the guinea worm is at all similar to that of the womb worm, that's what we call in the medical field fucking terrifying. The strategy of the womb worm is also reminiscent of another evolutionary strategy, parasitoid castration. In this strategy, a parasite ends the reproductive life of its host, aka makes it unable to boink and make another one of itself. This theoretically frees a significant portion of the host's resources, which can now be used to benefit the parasite. These resources include not only just naughty bits, but also the energy spent on mate-seeking behavior and caring for offspring. While this isn't exactly the same as that strategy, one can see very obvious direct parallels to it, in the way that the womb worm siphons resources and prevents any actual pregnancy from happening. And also, because they're both fucking horrifying. One question I have is, does carrying the worm affect the woman psychologically? I hope that current human ideologies haven't rotted your brains to the point that people will get mad at me for saying that growing another fucking human being inside of you affects your mind. All I'm saying is, she wasn't dipping pickles in ice cream before y'all forgot the condom, so maybe if she won't stop eating mulch out of the garden, it's time to be a caring partner and ask about that? More concerning, I theorize that after beginning the term of carrying the womb worm, the woman may begin to think of the nematode as her child, fixating on it constantly, protecting it from any harm, especially avoiding doctors who may remove it. This all begs the question, What happens when the worm comes to term, so to speak? That brings us to my next speculation. It appears that there are several small masses in the sac with the worm. While these could just be its poops, I have a theory that these are eggs. If the worm reproduces inside of its host, it stands to reason that the worm would want to spread its eggs. At this point, one of a few things could happen. It's possible that the worm would just sap the woman's body of nutrients until she died, and the worms would eat their way out. It's also possible that if it could affect their mind by some mechanic, it would influence her to play out the next phase of the worm's life cycle, leading the woman to a body of water, allowing the next generation of worms to escape and find copepods to infest. Starting the cycle all over again. Nature is just so beautiful sometimes. I mean, not right now. This makes me want to give myself an impromptu vasectomy with toenail trimmers, but I don't know, bite into a cactus or something. My theory may seem far-fetched, but this style of reproduction is not unfounded in the animal kingdom. One parasite, the horsehair worm, has this exact method of reproduction, infecting a cricket and then making it drown itself because that's the only way it can find someone else to have sex with. Next time you think finding someone is hard, just be thankful that you don't have to live inside someone else for years only to make them off themselves in a blow-up kiddie pool just to get a chance to get laid. If you have an opinion or speculation on my worm theory, or just womb worms in general, make sure to comment below. My opinion is that I'm glad it's only transmitted through drinking dirty water, because upon seeing the images, my mind initially created an implication about how that worm got in there that unsettled me to my core. This video was based off the Eduardo Valdés-Hevia art and story collection titled Dracunculus Graviditatis. I got it! Oh my god, you have no idea how hard that was for me with the first part of the script. They're a great artist, and you should go check out all their stuff. Anyways, if you like this video, you should like, comment, and subscribe with all notifications enabled, or I'll give you worms. Shout out the inner circle. Love y'all.